Well, now I want to turn to our first build along, and this is by Michael Groves, the owner of Darwin Lighting Without Wires. Michael, welcome, and thanks so much for doing this. Before you start, I do want to mention one thing. I didn't know this. I found somebody sent me an email the other day saying, Michael's company is for sale. And I said, no, it can't be for sale. He's doing too much. And he's on my show and he's promoting the heck out of his company. He can't be selling his company. So I sent it to you and you stopped back and you said, yep, it's time for somebody to take it to the next level.
That's absolutely true, Jim. Yep, we've got it through the first level, which was building it for 4 years with grandchildren and getting their education covered. And now we realize that, boy, this thing's got great legs. And we just can't really apply the marketing muscle that's needed to cover not only the US, but particularly Europe and then Japan, which is apparently about 15 times the market size of the American market. So if this is really a value, we need to sort of step aside and let somebody bigger take it over and do what they need to do.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with it because I've been really impressed with what you've shown us and the technology. I'd never heard of it before. That's why I asked so many dumb questions, I guess. But I really am enjoying what you're doing. So with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks very much, Jim. Well, last week, what we did was we worked on this little house. If you remember, it's actually a train station. And the first things that we did was we actually put some foil into the roof. And that's what I got there. And we also have this little insert that I was building at the time. Let me just pull that out. Yep. Okay, got it. So I made a little frame in here, and I put, you can see the sort of inside of a train station there. I've put nothing on the roof of it, but I've put, that sort of just a paper picture inside it. Very simple. And so that's going to go up into making a room, basically. Sorry, I have to get up to be able to see this. Stick that straight back up in there. Got it. All right. So now I've got that room. Oh, that's a bit wonky. I don't want it like that. Come on. Got it. All right. Excellent. All right. So what I want to do today is we're going to really talk about how on earth do you start thinking about lighting this building? So I mentioned before that with something like a 1.5 millimeter fiber, I could light this whole train building. You know what? That's going to be too bright. Now I've compartmentalized it into 3 rooms, basically, and one of them's pretty small. So I'm going to show you, let me see how I can do this. I'm going to have to pick up my computer and push my wife's away at the moment. So let's see if we can see this. All right. I'm turning some lighting on here. Whoops-a-daisy. Okay, I hope you can see this. What I've got, in fact, I've got one light going up into the building. You can't see this one yet, but I've got a little light poking up from this piece of homosote. I put it at 45 degrees, and it's going to actually shine inside that building on that backdrop. I've got another light coming up through a piece of tubing. So I just put a piece of aluminum tubing in here and stuck a fiber up it. And then I've got another one, which you actually can't see either, but I've just got it down again, 45 degrees, and it's going to actually light up the building. So I'm just going to turn those lights on. So I just got a nice remote so I can do that. That'll make it a bit easier to see those lights now. So there's the light that's going to go up into the inside of this building. There's the light that I put on into a piece of, basically it's a piece of aluminum tubing. I often use just stirring straws. And there's another light down here. So let me just put this building now back over these. Position it where I want it. Turn down my big light here. And you get a bit of an idea of what this building should look like. Whoops. No, it doesn't mean I just lose all my, oh dear. Sorry, I just lost everything. Then I tipped everything off. So you just hold with me a moment. I'll just put these fibers back into my lamp lighter. That's the nice thing when you get your fibers out of the lamp lighter, just fall out, put them back in again. Doesn't take a moment. So let's get that back in. I should have music playing while you have to wait for me to do this, but there we go. All right. Sorry about that. So let's see. Whoops. I need to do that. Sorry. Okay. So what you can see is you can see inside now, there's the little room inside. And if I had a better camera, you'd actually see the picture inside it. I've got that one piece of tubing that comes up through here. You can see the tubing there. It's actually coming up behind a wall. So normally, and if I won't be able to see anything of that fiber, no matter how I look through these windows, I'll never see a fiber. All I'll see is the effect of the lighting. The other thing I've done is I've got a spotlight down here. I'm going to move that spotlight up, if I can. And you can see that light there. Now, obviously, it rather overglows on the camera. But if I wanted to, that could be a nice spotlight on the front of that building. Or probably not useful on front of a train station like that, but very easy. And you can adjust it very, very simply, just pulling it up and down. And usually I put a bush in front of it. That way, you actually wouldn't see anything of that light. But now I want to introduce you to another thing that I did, which was, if you take this, you can see this light underneath here. Well, that light is because I've actually got a fiber in there. You can see this fiber is glowing quite brightly there. Again, these are all 1 millimeter fibers, so they're quite small. And one of the things I did was I took remember we used this aluminum foil trick. Well, I'm going to see if I'm dexterous enough here to take some foil and put it underneath there, which I'm probably not. I'm not dexterous enough, so I'm just going to have to do this by hand without tweezers. I'm not very good with. Okay. Okay. Now, I don't know if you could really see the effect of that, but that's made that light a lot brighter. So what I've got is a fiber sticking out and just going into a piece of aluminum foil and then reflecting down. So actually, it looks as though there's plenty of light there, and you'd never see the glare of that light in your face. So that's sort of really basically a very simple way to light your building. Now, I've just put a couple of slides together because I actually wanted to accentuate something about this building lighting. So I'm just going to remove this table for a moment so that I can show you that. Right. That's the nice thing about fibers. I just disconnect them easily and they're done for. So I'm just going to share my screen. And hopefully I can find, yes, okay. Right, okay, there's my slide that I want to show. And I'm just going to show this. Right, okay, all right. So what you should be able to see there is I've actually got a 1.5 millimeter fiber sticking into that building. So that's the building you've just seen. It's sticking up so that it's facing that back wall. And there's a bit of a challenge there. You can't see anything of what's going on with that back wall, can you?
No.
But let me diminish it by 20, actually down to 25%. So this would be like taking a 0.75 millimeter fiber, so that's about a quarter the intensity of a 1.5. And now, if my camera was even better, you'd start to see all the structure and what's inside the building. So it's a really important thing is to not overlight a building, especially on the insides, because you'll never see what's inside. It will just be a glare. And this is really what it should look like on your layout. Obviously, I've got a bit of a glare there. I've got my fiber sitting in here. And what I'm missing is that one that's over the door. If I had that on, I could see it's quite a nice effect on this building and very, very simple to do. So over to you guys. Questions?
Anyway, have any questions for Michael? That's
I have one. The smaller the diameter, the less light you'll get, right?
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
And how small do you make them?
So we don't make any of the fibers. I'll let you into that secret. We let the Japanese make them. Mitsubishi makes them. They're excellent quality fiber. And we actually buy them down to 0.5 millimeter. So I use those in trees. That's my main use. You just stick them up into a tree and they just give you little points of light. And it just looks like that sort of fairy garden creation. 0.75, I use those for car headlights, tail lights as well. I would use them inside that building in that little room that I then created. Then we go to 1 millimeter fiber. And so as you go up each of those, you're literally doubling the amount of light that can come through. 1 millimeter is what we use for all of our HO lights, street lights. They're what we use for 1 millimeter is for N-scale buildings. And then you go up to 1.5, and that's what we use for our usual HO buildings as well as for O-scale lights. And then we have 2 millimeter. If you really want to blow your brains out, so to speak, don't look down the fiber. It's so bright, you'll be seeing stars for ages. It's a little ropey, but that's really great for the O gauge guys. They like that stuff.
Thank you, Mike.
Michael, thank you so very much.
Mike, this is Phil Edom. Just one quick question. So you had mentioned earlier the idea of running a fiber and notching the fiber to get light output.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried doing that in a building where you run a fiber into the building, run it around the building and notch it where you want lights? You have a single fiber for a building that's notched where you want the light output versus running 3 or 4 fibers into the building.
I have not. However, customers have. I've actually had some customers, they didn't notch it so much, they actually scraped it. So there was this guy, Steve Juranics, and he explained that he had this beautiful building. Actually, had it last week on the presentation. When you looked at the back of it, there were quite a number of fibers running through there. But he'd actually taken some where he just scraped them so that he's actually just seeing a gentle glow from those. And it was just giving this really nice gentle glow from the sort of the broken windows in this building, and quite a nice effect. I would have told him it probably wouldn't be possible to do it, but what do I know? Customers always prove you wrong. So the answer is, yeah, it's a good idea. I think notching it probably less so, but I'll be honest with you, I've only notched it for the outside effects. I made Christmas lights, lights even around a Christmas tree or something like that. So maybe I should spend some time trying it. The problem is I get no time in my basement other than sending off packages and designing up new ideas.
I have a question. Is there a way to use fiber to imitate neon?
Yes, there is, which is very odd. Again, I think one of the slides I showed last week was a guy called Paul Bocadero. He's in Maryland, and he took a Woodland Scenics cinema, and he actually took that, and it's got a sort of neon light at the top of it, but of course there's no light in it. And he actually took a fiber, he scraped it, painted it red, fed it through there. Bingo. He had beautiful neon light. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I went, how on earth did you do that, Paul? So, yeah. Great question, Jeff.
Thank you.
Right. Well, I won't take more of your time, but wonderful. Thank you so much for having me back on. It's certainly great to get these questions, and thanks for this time with you, Jim.
Just one question, if I could. I've been mentioning neon lighting, like the neon lighting you see hanging in stores or in bars in the windows. Maybe you see in coolers or something. How tight a radius could you make with these to imitate those letters?
I would change the approach. I would have initially gone that approach, but my grandson did an approach where he actually took a whole load of fibers. So he's got a whole load of fibers. He painted them black, and then he actually notched them with a utility knife, and basically it created a neon sign, and it's a sign that says Trenton makes, the world takes. It's what's on the bridge, as train bridge as you go into Trenton, New Jersey. So that's the way I would do that type of signage, would probably be like that. And you created really nice glow, because you get this, you can color it red and you get a really nice neon sign out of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great question.
It's amazing what the technology that you're using, Michael, can achieve. It's just experimenting and trying.
It really is fun, Jim. I never expected this. In the first year when I did this, I had no earthly idea. Just did it for fun. Just did it to make it easy for customers to light their buildings and street lights and everything like that. So that's what makes this tremendously fun to do. So I'll be disappointed when I do sell the company, but I'll probably be doing some other fun things, you know.
Well, we hope so, and hope you'll let us know what they are and come back and share them with us.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim, very much.
See you next week. Thank you.
See you. Bye.
All right, that was great. And again, I learned an awful lot. I can't imagine all the things that he talked about you can do with that technology. I had no idea.